Amos was a prophet, not a major prophet, that was from the southern kingdom but was called to work in the northern kingdom. Amos was poor and was a shepherd from the south. Therefore the people in the north and the prophetic guild rejected him. Later on, he talked about the 7 crimes of the people, and he called out pagan gods. However, his main message as a prophet was social justice. The image he used for this prophecy was how very rich people would sell a slave for a sandal, which showed that people of lower classes weren't valued as much as wealthy people. Although almost all prophets have an overall theme of messianism, Amos's main message was social justice. Today, Amos's prophecy tells us that we should value everyone the same and not judge others based on their wealth, social class, etc. Hosea was from the northern kingdom, Israel, and was also called to preach in the northern kingdom. For his prophecies, he used the real-life image of his wife/marriage to represent the theme of monotheism, which is the belief in one God. Hosea's wife was very unloyal in their marriage, and Hosea got very mad about it, causing him to preach to the people of the kingdoms in his prophecies. Hosea's wife represents the people of Israel, while he represents God. This is because the people of Israel were unloyal to God and disobeyed the covenant many times, while God got angry and punished them. Today, this could represent the 10 Commandments and how Catholics are supposed to follow them, or else it's considered sin.
Jeremiah, who was one of the major prophets, hailed from Judah. He writes during the pre-exilic period and the exilic period around the year 586 BC. Jeremiah is called to be a prophet of his God and says that his reason for choice is that he's too young. This is the opposite of Isaiah. Isaiah said yes with no hesitation. He, however, accepts that he is going to be a prophet. He has many messages, some from before the exile and some after. The big one from the period before the exile is messianism. One of the messages from the exile is hope for the remnant. Ezekiel was another one of the major prophets, hailed from the southern kingdom. He was one of the priestly class, which means he was from the tribe of Levi. He, like many others, was exiled to Babylon during the first exilic period in the year 598 BC. He, like many other prophets from this time period, had messages from before the exile and ones during it. His main one from the prophet before the exile was a warning to the people about their actions. His message during the exile was hope for the remnant. Like then, now we have to be aware of our actions and how they affect other people.
Daniel, who hailed from the south, was one of the major prophets of the Old Testament. Daniel, even though he hailed from the southern kingdom, was exiled to Babylon. This occurred in the year 598 BC. During the first deportation, Daniel was lucky amongst the exiles, as he was chosen to serve the king. Daniel had many visions. He was also saved by God when he was put in the lion's den. Daniel had many messages that he conveyed in this book. Messianism, hope for the remnant, and man of faith can resist temptation are the main ones. Today, Daniel's story gives us hope that God is here with us. Jeremiah, who was one of the major prophets, hailed from Judah. He writes during the pre-exilic period and the exilic period around the year 586 BC. Jeremiah is called to be a prophet of God, and he says no. His reason for this choice is that he's too young. This is opposite of Isaiah. Isaiah says yes with no hesitation to God. He, however, accepts that he's going to be a prophet. He has many messages. Some are before the exile and some during. The big one from the period before the exile is messianism. One of the messages from the exile is hope for the remnant.